Today's episode of The Home Rancher, we have a unexpected project showed up. Met some folks the other night at the grocery store, having some car trouble. They got a 2009 Chrysler Town and City Council meeting thing van. Anyways, right there. Well, somebody was trying to tell them that it needed to be towed, and it was going to be like $1,500 to fix the thing, that it needed a wiring harness and a computer and all kind of good stuff. And I took a look at it, and I think it just needs an alternator. So I had one of these. I had some parts. I don't have the alternator, but I got a good battery. I'm going to throw a battery in it and throw a test on it and see if that's what it is, and go down there to the Irish parts store and old Riley's there, and see if I can get a charging whirler for this thing, get it put on there, and see if I can't get them back on the road fairly cheap. We'll be right back. Okay, so I got the wrench that nobody could ever find, the good old 10mm tray. Gonna take the battery cables off. Well, it's actually still got a battery hold down on it too. And I was over there at my tree, and there was a bunch of bats in it. I don't know, there's just a bunch of bats in my tree. And, well, I came back with one of these, out of the bat tree. The bat tree had one of them Duralast Goldalator proven Tuga tough. We're gonna work out in today. We're gonna throw this in here and see if we can't get it up in the driveway and put theirs on charge. Say it's only a year old, and it's one of them die-hardest silver plated ones. So we're gonna see if it's any good and test on it. But I'm gonna throw this in there and see if I can get it started and do some preliminary testing to make sure it is that charging whirler is burned up. Don't you go down there. I always try to drop everything. Well, I tell you what, it's hotter than that video of Miley Cyrus riding on that wrecking ball and licking that hammer. You remember that one? It wasn't that hot, but it was a little weird. My oldest boy had a thing for Hannah Montana. Come to think of it, I think he used to dress like her. I don't remember. That should be a 14mm tray, and wouldn't you know it, I actually got it right. These people said they've been spending a lot of money trying to get this thing fixed. The company they used to get their vehicles fixed at went out of business. They sold out to somebody. And the people that's there now are just robbing people, just sticking it to them and taking all their money. And not everybody can work anymore. Some people are on a fixed income. And I think that this might be the case with these good folks right here. I walked out that door and I seen them out there. Something told me, somebody touched me on the shoulder. I think his name was God. And he said, "Home Rancher, you gotta see if you can help these people out today." See where I'm at? Yep, got the old die-hard-lator out. Now, I'm thinking that this might be a different kind of battery. Or maybe they just didn't put the right one back in it. I don't know. We're getting ready to find out. Oh, it does have a gold handle. Evidently, the 2015 uses a little bit different flavor battery. It's going to be a So I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna lay it on the side and see if we can get started. Do not do this. No, that ain't gonna work either. Maybe I can flip it in there like that. That ain't gonna work either. So, well, I tried. So, I'm gonna put this one on the charger, and by that, instead of putting it on boil mode down in the basement, I'm just gonna put it on my S-Escalade here with a set of clear current cableator things and shoot some lightning down into that lightning tube. See if we can get it to make any noise. Be back in a minute. We got this here charging on this Escalade. Now, I got one of those Sidewinder post batteries in here, and this is one of them top nipple deals. And you know, they never clamp right, so I just go to my ground over here off the side of the fender where my body ground's going, and I just go directly off the alternator there. And that way it's not going through everything else. It's coming right off the alternator, right into there, just like it would if it was sitting there running. I'm going to charge it a little better. Bring that voltage up in there a little quicker, and we can throw it back in the Downing Country Fried Steak and see if we can make some pancakes. I'm hungry. Pancakes sound good. Let's see what we got. I don't want to let it charge in there too long, you know. Just want to see if we're getting juicy juice box material into the box here out of the turbocharged lightning storm back there. You can tell me if it does anything. On it, obviously, but that alternator is making a heck of a racket, don't you think? I'd say so. Well, let's do the old redneck test. Let's pull the cable off. There you go. Alternator. No ECM. No wiring harness. No starter. That's what they were trying to tell these people. Trying to charge them $1,500 on a tow bill. That alternator sounds a little rough, don't it? You know, Chrysler made it pretty easy. If you can remember 13, 14... Kids. Sounded pretty good, actually. If you can remember 13, 14, 15, you can get this alternator off. All you need is a 13 millimeter, a 14 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 3/8 drive, and this alternator will be off in 5 minutes. Pull the serpentine belt off, it's easy. Just grab it by hand and pull it. It's all right there, I think. Don't hold me to that yet. But yeah, 14 millimeter for your battery wire going to it, 13 millimeter for the top bracket, and then 15 mil on the two bolts that goes to the bracket, and charging thingies off of there. So I'm gonna disconnect this battery and go ahead and pull this thing off. That way I got a core and go down to the pub, O'Reilly's pub, and get me a charging cylinder battery booster turbo thingy. Well, what are you still standing there for, Ricky? Come on, help me. Come on! So on the top here, you got this bracket. 13. Back here, 13. Now, you know, these PCV hose can just just slide it back there out of your way. It ain't gonna bite nobody or hurt nothing. Man, somebody ought to leaf this thing alone. I think it belongs to Leif Erikson. I should have just left it. How do you say it? Leafed? I'm not sure. I'm not from around here. I'm originally from Florida, whether you guys didn't or may not have known that, but yeah, and I was wrong. That's 13 millimeter down in here. So we'll pop that off there. Battery cables are disconnected, so we're not going to have any fireworks over here today. It's the 6th. Some people still got some fireworks left. I mean, you know, that's off. We're going to do the right thing, move that out the way, and put that nut back down on there where it belongs. That ain't where it belongs, but that's where I'm going to put it so I don't lose it. And then when I take it in for the core, if I need it, I can just unscrew it right off of there. And there's a keeper on this harness here that plugs in. You just slide the red keeper forward and then squeeze the little pin and unplug that little harness. Pretty simple as that. I'm going to get this 15 millimeter now, and we're going to pull them front ones and see where we go from here. I am dripping sweat. That one wasn't too bad. Yeah, that one come out real nice. I'll show you. Of course, it's 15 miles long, but that's okay, because sometimes you might need to go 14 miles to get it out. That was that. I hear a lot of people complain about working on these cars. You know, oh, they're so hard to work on. Everything's so hard to get to. You can't do this, you can't do that. Basic set of tools, man. And quit crying and get out of your driveway and do something, and you'll get it done, and you'll be all right. And you know what? That money you don't spend at the shop is money you can spend on your family. Go camping, go fishing, go buy a lottery ticket. I don't know. You might be able to win something. You know, maybe lottery, or I don't know, get you a makeover. Go over to Derek's page and go to vicegripgarage.com and get you some merchandise. Maybe win that Mountain Dew tribute car. I don't know what you do with your money. It's your money, not mine. And of course, this one here is 45 feet long too. So we're just gonna keep slow walking it out of there. It'll eventually come out. I am dripping sweat. I don't know if y'all can see it dropping. Coming off my nose and going down my arm. It's a little bit warm out here this morning. I say this morning, it's actually noon. I was up this morning. I had to go take a run and run up and grab a load for work. And I've done did that, been back and got this here going. Like I said, with that belt there, just pull it off to the side, off just like that. Wiggle your alternator back and forth. You slide it forward towards the radiator and then rock it back and forth. And there it is. Look how fast that was. It's pretty quick. Be right back. Let me say hi to the new member of the family. This is Rocky.
Hey, yo, how you doing? My name's Rocky.
I don't know, that's my Rocky impersonation. What do you think, Mama? It sucks, don't it?
No, it's good.
Hey, yo, Adrian. You feeling a little lucky, huh?
Mama's getting ready to go take care of some business, and I'm going to go down here and see if this alternator's ready. But first, she made me some breakfast, even though it's lunchtime, so I'm going to go in here and have some lunchrist, brunch. What do they call it, rich people? I don't know. I'm going to go eat some hog. I'll be right back. Fat boys are back. And you know, he'll never be wet. Oh, what's going on? Yep, so the thing that does the stuff, we're gonna get our crayons out and color it. No, we're just gonna put it on here where it belongs and see if it chargulates. Let me readjust the camera and get y'all down in here. Ow, that was my finger. Alright, so let's see if we can get this thing on here without breaking anything or our fingers or killing anything that shouldn't be killed. Make sure you get it going the right way here. Now, I'll tell you a little secret. When you get these alternators, there's that little nutsert right there. That'll actually slide in there. Now, if you can take a pair of vice grips or something and kind of clamp it right there and push this out, it'll actually go down over that shoulder a lot easier. I'm going to do that real quick and see if I can't make this a little easier on myself so I'm not pinching my finger off. Alright, so we got that. It's slid down now. Get our bolt started. And we'll rotate it around. Line up our other bolt in the upper part of the bracket. Get that down in there where she belongs. Might have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit, make sure your threads line up. And do that, guys. Make sure it spins in freely. You don't want to cross thread your bolts on that, because then you'll be tearing the whole daggum thing apart and putting a bracket on, which we don't want that. And this one's already trying to fight me, so there it goes. Just wasn't holding my tongue right. No. Yep, nope, yep, nope. Yep. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this stuff down and we'll be back here in a minute. Slide the belt on, see what we get. For those of you that don't know, I'm trying to get the belt on. Right down here on that tensioner, you can take a 3-inch drive breaker bar and push down. Keep everything else routed on here and come off your water pump and your tensioner right here and just pull it right up over top, release it, and you're done. Easy in, easy out. Tighten up the rest of your bolts, put your top bracket back on, hook up your field wires and whatnot, and start her up and see what you get. We'll finish tightening these up and we'll be right back. I tell you what, it is hot out here today. It's just a little bit warm. Alright, tighten that until my shoulder pops, that's good. Well, it did come with the new nut and a lock washer. Make sure you get that lock washer off, put it on the top half. Make sure you got a good clean connection, no corrosion on the contacts. Tighten it down, but don't over tighten it, because you can actually spin that shank inside that alternator and mess up the whole thing. Make sure you get your top bracket back on. Relatively simple job. A man can do this alternator swap himself in probably 20 minutes. Minus, you know, time going to the parts store. But if you already got it, you have to go back because you got to take the core back, you know. This particular alternator had a $65 core. So I wasn't just going to leave that core money sitting there and forget about it. All right. And then don't forget to plug your stator wire back in and latch it back in. Bring you over here and show you what I'm talking about. Make sure that's tightened down. The plastic's loose, it's not falling off, but it's supposed to be like that. But this here, this little red shoulder here, that's what you need to pull out and then squeeze to take out. And then push it back in, make sure it latches. And then push that retainer back in and you're good to go. Let's see if this thing starts. Might want to put battery cables back on there. Ain't making all that racket like it's making. You heard it earlier. Ricky, I know you heard it. Well, look at there. Still running. It's charging. Get my digital meter box out and I'll show you. Usually I just put my tongue on it and see if it tingles a little bit. I'm going to do it the right way, that way y'all can see the right way to do it. Bring you in here and let you see. .24, 23, 24, 23, 24. We got charges. We'll let it run for a minute and go through the cycles on the ECM. We got a couple check engine lights. We're gonna diagnose and see what might be going on there. So, I got my OBD1 Canobity box here. It's just an ANOVA meter. It's nothing fancy or special. Just gonna plug it in here and see what she says. We got 3 codes. P0072 and P0562. Let me check a couple connections and make sure those codes ain't being sent because of the alternator failing or whatnot, or maybe low voltage drop or something. And we'll come back and talk about what they are. So, kind of like I thought, P0562 is because the body control module detected a drastic drop in voltage. And P0072 is ambient air temperature sensor. So I know they had a radiator put in this thing, so maybe somebody knocked the ambient air temperature sensor loose and didn't plug it back in. So I'm gonna go there first and check that and come back, and then we're gonna clear these codes out and see if we get a clean bill of health. Well, the guy was right. whoever put the radiator in and had the front bumper cover off, they jerked the wires out of the ambient air temperature sensor. For those of you wondering where it is on these Town and Countries and Voyagers and whatnot, on the lower part of your bumper cover, the lower grill, you look up in there, there's a little funny looking black sensor. It's got a little black nipple off of it, 2 wires going into it. It's got a little push pin clip holding it up into the core support. Most people, when they're taking this stuff apart, they don't realize what they're doing or trying to get wires out of the way, and they just snatch, and well, that's what they did. They ripped them out of there, and the sensor's gone, so I'm gonna have to get them a sensor and get that replaced. I mean, all that really does is show the temperature on the dashboard. Unless they're worried about that, it really doesn't matter too much. Intake air temperature sensor does all the ECM for fuel ratios and whatnot, and AFRs. So I'm gonna clear these out. I should only get that code back and see what we got from there. Be right back. I actually found an ambient air temperature sensor in my toolbox, and I was able to get it in there and rewire it, and it works. Now these are some older folk. They're on a fixed income. They live in an area, we get a lot of black sooty mold around here from bourbon distilleries. She was saying, you know, they tried to wash it, but just don't have the energy or the power to get out there and clean it up. So I'm gonna pull it over here and do the right thing, because I take care of my customers, even though I haven't had an actual shop in almost 10 years. I still like to take care of my customers. I do more than what they ask me for. And they remember me, and they come back, and they tell their friends. And I'm gonna start doing some things on the side again here. You know what? I'm kind of thinking about maybe getting me a building and just going back to work for myself. I really miss it. I miss building customs and classics, making people happy, surprising. We'll walk you around this thing. Let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna give it a quick clean up, and I'll show you the after result. And I'm gonna call them and tell them to come and get it. Why am I doing that? I need to quit walking up there. Is that better? Ricky, shut up. I know you're short. Yeah, you know, got the half of the petrified forest there underneath the hood there. We'll get that out of there for them before we get a fire. See this old black sooty mold stuff? That's what that's called, black sooty mold. And it is all over this thing. So we're gonna do the right thing and just kind of clean it up a little bit. Maybe try to pop that bumper cover back on, and you know, at least try to do a little something for them. It's got some bumps and bruises here and there, but it's what they got. And the lady said it just kind of means a lot to her. I guess her and her husband had a lot of good memories in this van, so I'm gonna do the right thing and clean it up. So a few minutes of some elbow grease, a little bit of added love. Inside windows need to be cleaned, and the inside needs something terrible cleaned. But all that nasty mold, all that junk off of here is all gone. Need some body work and paint, but they're not going to do all that. They're going to drive this thing and get where they need to go, doctor's appointments, etc. It looks 100,000 times better than it did. That right there alone, you'd be surprised. Who needs business cards? Who needs advertising? You take care of a customer and give them something like that, just as simple as a car wash, or vacuum their car out, or I don't know, change your windshield wiper blades, or complimentary oil change, you know. But you got to watch yourself doing that stuff too. You get into too much mechanical type stuff, and if anything happens to their vehicle, it could come back and bite you in your backside. Because then they'll say, well, if you didn't touch that, this wouldn't have broke. And then next thing you know, you're in small claims court. But a car wash, I mean, who cares about that? Hear that frog? And this is daylight. Them damn frogs are bad out here in Kentucky, I'm telling you. Well, I'm gonna give it a good road test. I'm gonna give them a call and tell them to come get their chariot. On to the next one. Y'all have yourself a good day. Home Wrencher out. God bless you.